What's up, hot sauce? Let me say this loud and clear. Power does not wait for permission. It is claimed brick by brick. And today, you are about to meet a dear friend of mine, a woman that's doing just that. Sheetal Patel is building more than just hotels and an empire. She is building legacy in a culture that isn't always welcoming to women doing so, and in a market and a product type that doesn't always hand out easy wins, and in a industry that still too often looks like a boys' club. But she's not waiting for a seat. In fact, she's inviting you with the most inviting and warm welcome to her table. This episode is for every woman, every first gen kid, every leader that has ever felt like trying to show up in a space was maybe not all that welcoming. It's about power. It's about posture. It's about finding your voice in your space in a moment that you didn't know was going to expect you to need to take the baton and run with it. So buckle up, Buttercup, because you're about to hear a story from someone who found their voice out of a moment in life that really felt like they were left in the ashes. When you meet this woman, you're going to realize that stopping asking for approval is absolutely the most vital first step to finding your brilliance. Let's dive in and get to know Sheetal Patel. Sheetal, welcome in. How are you today, my friend?
Hello, Lisa. I am fantastic. I am so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Man, I cannot wait for us to get into your real story, because as I have gotten to know you across our time together in coaching, because I'm honored to get to be your coach, I've learned about your story. You grew up in India, and at some point you came over to the US. And before we get into the story of how you met your husband and built your portfolio and got into real estate, tell me a little bit about your life in India. What got you over to the US, and what did life there look like?
That is a very interesting story. So I was born and raised in India, and I came to United States when I was about in 8th grade in California, in Mission Viejo, and we had a very traumatic experience on my first visit in first week, and we had a really terrible car accident. I lost my grandfather, and my family decided to go back to India forever. They're like,
In
okay,
your whole family moved over.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Parents, grandparents, everybody.
Yes.
And your grandfather passed away in a car accident. Were you in the car when that happened?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah. So out of the first like 15, 20 days, I spent like about a couple days in a hospital, and it was really, really, really sad. And parents couldn't handle it. They were here seeking for a new life, new career, or, and they're like, this is not for us. So we went back to India.
Boxes aren't even unpacked. They're like, screw it, we're going home. That's it.
That's it. So the first experience was not so awesome. We went back to India, and fast forward after a couple of years, and I decided like, okay, life is not what I want it to be, or will not be with the surroundings I have. I came here, so I know what it looked like, even though it was for a short period of time. But I know what opportunities were here. So when I got married and decided like, oh my God, this is not going to work out really well over here. Let's give it a try. Like, I know it didn't work out for USA with the parents. How about if I go and explore and see what possibility are waiting for me over there? And so begged my dad that, hey, give me a passport. Didn't have so much money. We're so young.
Wait, so you're in 8th grade. I'm going to slow down and picture this for a second. You're in 8th grade. You're begging dad, give me my passport. I got to go back. What do you say?
I was not in 8th grade. I was like after a couple of years. So
okay. So this is later.
This is later,
okay.
after a couple of years. And I decided like I want to come back, and my parents were still in India. I reached out to a few people from hometown and see where I can land, if someone can pick me up. Because didn't know where to go, didn't have any family down here that I can just, heck, hey, I'm coming, right? So there was a lot of things to put in place. But I don't know where I got that strength at that moment. But I think because I was not comfortable where I was, and I needed and wanted to do something else. And there was the one, see, a lot of time in life, we don't know what we want, but we will find out by knowing what we don't want.
So how old were you at this age when you made this? You asked dad for your passport and you made this move.
20.
You were 20. Did you have the wisdom to look up and say, I'm not happy. I don't know what it is that I want, but I know it's not this.
I did actually. I did have that wisdom because there was a lot of other story that, we probably need more than a podcast to sit down to unpack all that.
We'll just boil it down in that little mantra right there, right? I don't know what I want, but it ain't this. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the moment, because it was a lot of other things going on, a lot of the cultural background, the where I grew up, where I see, how my moms, my aunts, my, uncles and people surrounding me, and everything was kind of like suffocating. Like, this is not right. Like, and I wanted to have something different for myself. So yeah, I decided to came down here and, never look back, actually.
Well, now I want to sit on this for a second, Sheetal, because you come from a background. What can we narrow it down? You come from India. What's the cultural background you come from? Because there's a lot of different identity and like cultural backgrounds that come from India, right?
So yes, a lot of different religions over there too, and a lot of different culture based on what religion you follow, and even based on the religion, based on the household makes the difference, right? Like how your household culture is. So I'm Hindu, and we follow Hindu religion. I believe in all God and everybody, because I think it's the superpower and humanity that we need to believe in more than one religion. That's what my personal beliefs are. So yes, our family practice Hindu religion, and the more culture is like, women stay home, cook and clean, men makes the money, but then women don't have a voice.
And so you looked up and saw that at 20. And is that part of what
way
you said?
Before that I started
I know
seeing,
I don't want that.
way before I started seeing that, how, not just my mom, my aunts, the people, how they were treated, and how the life was kind of going for everybody around them. And my mom had a master's degree, so she was a very educated woman, but was not allowed to work.
Wow.
Yes. So
what you have a master's in?
I think she had a arts and science, I think. I'm not too sure. Yeah, but education was a priority for her, but then, there was no use.
It's a badge versus a deployment, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you're 20 and you get to the US. Who did you stay with when you got here? You didn't know anybody.
I reached out to probably 20, 30 people from my hometown who were over here that I knew. So reach out to some other people that I know. It's like, hey, would you mind like contacting me with them and say like, I will stay with them. They just have to come pick me up until I find a job. I may not have money to give it to them right away, but I made a deal.
I'll pay you back, friend. I'll pay you back.
I'll pay you back with interest. I'll pay you double. Like, how much do you charge to come pick people up for the airport? Oh, how about if I pay you double? But here is the deal. Not right away when I get my first paycheck.
And by the way, I don't have a job yet. Yeah.
So we made it work.
Yeah, you're scrappy, girl. I can see it just through the Zoom. You're scrappy. You got grit. Okay, so you get here, you land. Where'd you land first? What city did you come to? New Jersey. And that's where you are today still.
Yeah.
All right. So you're 20, you get to New Jersey. What happens next?
So came to New Jersey, had to find a job. The best place to get a job was casino, was the option that people were telling me back then. So I was like, okay, went and did a couple interviews, got my first job as a cashier in a casino. Then I picked up another job. So I worked 3 jobs, 10-hour shifts at 2 places and another part-time
Wow.
job. So it was 10-hour shifts, so you get done your 40 hours in 4 days, so you have 3 days off. So I manipulated the whole system with the timing,
You little hustler. You had 3 jobs out the gate. Uno, dos, tres. Yeah, 3 jobs.
And
And
the
all
best
3
thing
were
about it,
cashiers.
then the best thing about it, like they give you the uniform, so I don't have to worry about clothes. They feed you. So I'm like, cool, I don't have the money. This is gonna work out for me until I figure out what I want to do next, right?
Yeah, and if you work enough, you just never sleep. You don't even need a place to stay, girl. You got clothes, you got food, you don't need shelter. Okay.
I
Yeah.
had a shelter. I was
I see
sharing a
what you're
room.
doing.
I was
Okay.
sharing room with 4 other people. So I was sharing one room with 4 people. So
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. Talk
Yeah.
about a story of grit. Because I think so many times we look up and I mean, especially people take for granted. I'm born and raised here, right? Born and raised in Texas. And we take for granted the comfort of not having to go through a story like yours, not having to go through the grit and grind of living with 4 other people and having to figure out how to make shit work for yourself versus having a mom and dad to fall back on or a roof over your head. And an immigrant's journey and story of how they get their feet underneath them in a new country is, I mean, that is heroic shit to make this work, and good on you. Good on you. That's hard. Okay, so you did all this. What's next? Keep
So,
going.
but on that point, I want to point out that it was not easy, but I knew the failure was not an option because everybody was waiting for me to fail. So
Yeah.
I had to prove myself. And I think that's where the strength comes in.
Say
So
more about that. What do you mean failure is not an option? For some people, that's not a true statement, but for you, it clearly was because you're still here today, right? So you paid everybody back, and how did you do that?
I'm sorry, what?
How did you do that?
Oh, how did I do that? First of all, trying to figure out what job I want to do, how much pay, and doing that. Then after that is like, I know this is not my forever thing. What's next, right? So what's
So
next?
you're not still cashiering at 3 jobs today?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Just making sure.
Just
Yeah.
making sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
So
Okay.
from there to owning first real estate property was to buy a home because I rented a place and then decided like, okay, this much is the rent going in the trash. Why can't we buy it?
Well,
So
when did you meet your husband?
I met my husband in India
Oh, while you were still over there.
when I was there. Yes. So I
When you were in
first
your,
came.
before you were 20.
Yes, and I
Got
first came down here. I got the job. I made the money. I paid the things off. I bought my first property, actually, real estate property in India, within
it.
2 years of my working here. So I was like, at least we have a home over there because we were renting over there as well.
You
And
bought that, or you and he bought that?
I bought that.
Let's say that really clearly. Wait, you as a woman from your culture, your background, you and he did not buy that. He did not buy that. You, Sheetal Patel, with your own adult female money, you bought that real estate. 3 cashier jobs.
Yes.
I mean, you can't see it. If you're listening to the podcast, not watching the YouTube, I'm like high-fiving the screen right now. Damn, girl. Yes, ma'am. Good job. So you bought your first piece of real estate. How old were you?
I what year was it? 21, 22.
You were 22. Good job. Okay. And it was a house.
It was a house.
Okay. In India?
Not a condo, not an apartment. It's individual single family house.
That's
So I bought a new construction so I could pay it in an installment. and
Mhm.
I got a mortgage afterwards. So I paid half in installment, 50% down and 50% in a mortgage. But it gave me a little bit of time so I can, pay that off step by step, basically.
I love that. And so at what point did he come over from India?
So because of the immigration process and all that stuff takes time. So it took him some time to come to USA. He came after my first child was born. So I had given a birth to my first child by myself. I was while working on
Was
jobs.
he able, you guys were able to go back and forth and visit each
I was
other? I
able to
mean,
go back.
clearly,
I was
clearly.
able to go back. So
Okay.
when I went back, I got pregnant and I came back here. And then when I found out that I was pregnant, so he's like, come back here. He was like, you can't do this by yourself. I can't let you do it. You just
The
come
hell you
back
can't.
here. But
Nature is gonna let you.
I was like, I can come back there, but I really don't want to come back there. I want my child to be American citizen.
Yeah.
They can have all the rights and when from then he or she can decide whatever they want to do. But this country is so awesome. It is
Yeah.
like sky's the limit. The opportunities are amazing over here. And I want my child to be born in USA, not in India. And that was quite a journey. It was not really easy at all, but did it. And then I went back to India when my first daughter Nishi was probably 5 months old, and that's the first time Daddy has seen her. And then he's like, okay, I'll take care of her until I get to come over there. So you get to do whatever you want to do. So within a couple of months, then I think within another 5 months or so, he was able to come down here and he bring the baby with him. And yeah.
And then you guys have like your family unit here.
Yeah, so
All
that
right.
time I was renting. So up until then, like I was staying as like sharing the room. But then after when I got pregnant, I got my first rental. When he came here, that's
Wait, when you got pregnant, you mean you bought your first rental? Like you bought an apartment building?
no, I was having a rental unit. So I was renting an apartment at that time. But after he came, we bought our first condo.
I see what you're saying. Got
I'm
it. So you
sorry.
moved out of being in a shared room to you got your own apartment to then you guys got a house together. But you had
Yeah.
bought a house as an investment property when you were still sharing a room with people,
Yeah. Mhm.
when you were still living 4 people in a bedroom.
Yes.
You bought a house as an investment property. I want people to hear that really clearly because that's a mindset. That's a decision as an investor, right? I mean, you and I coach together, and you hear me in some of my coaching conversations. I sometimes have people find it difficult to make phone calls in the same room with somebody. I can't have somebody make calls in the same room with me. You lived in a bedroom with 3 other people while you bought a investment property.
And I schedule
It's called making
my work,
decisions.
and I
Yeah.
schedule my work accordingly when probably less people in the room. So when they are working, I'm home, and I'm
Yeah.
not home when everybody's home. So I work my schedule around that. So
Yeah. You built your priorities to
Mhm.
give you what you wanted in your life. You chose current uncomfort in that moment for future pleasure.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
great choice. So you fast forward, you guys now have your family. You look up your kids. Let's say your kids are like in the range of 8 to 12. What does life look like now?
So that moment we had our first condo, and at that moment we started looking for business. And we bought so because at that time my husband started working in a casino, then he was also working in one of the liquor store, and he learned about the basics of investments and the business aspect, like
And
what do
you
you
guys
need.
ended up buying some liquor stores and gas stations along the way. Yeah.
Yes. So when they were building up another liquor store, they offered something, but the offer wasn't going to work out. We decided to buy our own business. we were looking for different businesses in different area. So about probably an hour from where we live, we found a smoke shop, and we got one thing I gotta say was really good and creative with the financing from the beginning. So we made a deal with them, like, okay, we'll pay you X amount of money and you do the seller financing, because again, we had little money saved up, but not a whole lot of money saved up. And, we tried for the business loan, but it didn't get approved. So we used the alternate route, and we bought our first business. From the first business, it was a lease. So we owned the business, but we did not own the real estate.
So let me pause here for a couple of things. We're going to unpack. Seller financing is where they're going to essentially act as the bank with you. So you didn't have to go to a bank to find the money to do this deal. And when you're saying we own the business, but not the real estate, you owned the smoke shop and you took over the lease in that transaction, but
Correct.
someone else is the landlord of the real estate.
Mhm. Yes.
Just making sure as we go through this story, I'm unpacking some pieces. Cool. Keep going.
So then when we do the P&L and, we learned the other, the business aspect, and we sat with our accountant and we looked at our numbers, and in a year we was like, oh, we are paying heck a lot of money into the lease. So we are actually paying a lot of money to landlord.
Probably 40, 50% of your money's going out the door.
So what would it look like to become a landlord and a business owner? So then we started looking that revenue, and we found a property which was kind of like it was a running business, but it was kind of like a rundown. They really were shutting their doors down. So we got but it was a really good real estate property, and I still have that, and I love that property so much because it has a commercial unit, but it also has a residential unit attached to it. And so we could have multiple units in one freestanding building. And so we sold our smoke shop. That's made a lot of profit because every year we have double and triple the business on that particular business. So we were able to pay off the loan, and we were able to get a lot of money, but we did not take any single penny home. We invested all back into the business.
In growing the business.
So we bought up now we have a property, multiple unit property with the real estate. And we started having some different ideas. I reached out to so many franchisees to see if we can bring any franchisee, because Alicia, when we got our smoke shop, we had no idea, because my husband did not smoke, I didn't smoke. We have no idea about what.
Isn't that great? Neither of you smoke, but you own a smoke shop.
And the same thing happened with the second business. We were decided to do a deli and a convenience store. Now, deli, we are vegetarian. We don't know about any meat, any sandwich.
The vegetarians own the deli. Did the deli carry boar's head? You guys are like stocking in these giant rolls of meat, and you're both, your whole family's vegetarian. This is great, Sheetal.
But we learned. So that's why we thought having a franchise is so important, because they teach you the systems, the models, and what you absolutely have to have, and they train you, right? Why go figure out the whole system, waste your money and time learning it when the whole system is already out there, ready to rock and roll for you?
Well, you learn from what someone else already went through, right? Yeah. That's leverage. That's called leveraging someone else's hard knocks. Good job, gal. Good job. Okay, Sheetal. So you are so impressive. You've got all these different businesses going. You've got the smoke shop, and you've gone through all these different businesses you've bought, and you went from being this woman who bought her first house while she was living in a room with 4 other people to this owner of a portfolio and a family. And now we're in 2020. And life changed pretty big for you. Walk us through what happened then.
Yeah. In 2020, during pre-pandemic, I had, lost my husband, my partner in business, in life. And it was very surprising. And it happened so quickly. that it was hard to process it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was COVID, yeah.
It was, yeah, it was during pre-COVID and it happened so quickly. And
Man. And so you have your kids at this point, 4 kids, and you have your portfolio, and now your husband has passed, and what do you do? What was the next step you chose to take?
yeah, it was hard because at that moment we had a liquor store, convenience store, hotels, and a golf course.
And a
We just
golf course. Gosh.
and we had just bought over another hotel just a month before his passing. So it was like a brand new venture. We were still going through the bringing in a new franchisee, changing the boards, the whole process of hiring new people and all. So it was hard. It was very, very hard. I kind of had no idea. I had no support, no idea, because, I disconnected from the social world and everybody trying to build my own career, business, life, family, having to have 4 kids, managing all these things with my husband. And we were just building like the empire one after another, right? So they really didn't have time for any social. So really didn't had any friends or families or anybody. And the transition was even tough. And you know when you have your own family that doesn't kind of like support you in a way that they were there, but it was my own battle, basically.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think as women, when we go through loss, our families around us kind of forget that, like, while you're meant to be the empathetic people and person and the one that others lean on, sometimes you need someone to lean on too, right? You're not just the pillar for others. Sometimes you need someone to just fucking fall apart on.
Yeah,
And it sounds like you didn't have that.
whole grieving process was so hard because it was first of all, it was so hard to believe. It happened
Yeah.
like with 24 hours, right?
Oh,
Here I am in February, had a phone call from India that my mom was in ICU, went to visit her after 20 years. Long story short, I came back, my husband didn't come pick me up on the airport. So I, took a taxi, came home, he wasn't feeling good. That's not like him. It's never like him. Like, he would work in 105 fever, or, you can't even tell that he has a fever. So if he says he doesn't feel good, that means it's something extremely wrong. Called the doctor, took him to ER the same night. He didn't even make it to 24 hours together after that. And I
oh,
did not expect that, when I left, it was like, yeah, we have this whole full house with like kids have a swim championships going on. We just bought a hotel. We are just trying to navigate through a lot of different things at that time. And then the pandemic hit. And then, for the longest time, I was saying like I should have or could have not gone to India. But then in 6 months, I realized why God sent me to India, because my mom passed away in October.
you would have not gotten to seen her again. That was
Yes.
the first time you saw her. I remember you telling me that story. That was the first time you had seen her in 20 years.
Yeah. No, she used to come here. So I have seen her in between, but I have not gone back to India in
You had
20 years.
not gone back. That's right. That's
So
right.
I
That's right.
have seen so many of my other family members, my uncles, my aunts, and I'm after that, one of my uncle passed away, my aunt passed away. So I saw all those people during that visit, and it was so many people, like one after another. It was just so hard. It was so unbearable that,
Yeah.
how do you navigate through all that? Like at one point, it was a moment where, it was so hard that I felt like, that it was so hard. One day I just, even had this suicidal moment, and I thought about kids, and then I was like, well, what about them? They was like, they have nobody. I was like, let's just all die. Like why are we all here? Like it was very, very hard. And getting through those things were like, I did not think that I could have made it a day. And it was so many things, like, when it rains, it pours, and it was flooded.
It was absolutely flooding. And
So,
thank God that you are here now on this side. And we look up, it's 2025. And if I use words like, Sheetal, you're thriving, would you say that's true?
yes,
Sheetal, you're flourishing. Would you say that's true?
that is true. Not to the level that I want to.
Sheetal, you're earning more than you've ever earned. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely true. Yes.
Yeah, Sheetal, you're showing up fully as a mom and getting to live a big ass life with your kids. Is that true?
Absolutely, yeah.
And how do those things feel?
Those things feels fulfilling. It's kind of like, that's, I think, was I was made for, and my struggles were there to build me up, and I'm glad I hang in there. I'm glad I did what I did, and it feels good to a level that, I'm there for the people who are around me, especially my kids, because it wouldn't be fair for them. And now I'm finding a new purpose. Like, I became a QL instructor to 2022, which gave me another purpose, that, how the life is bigger than yourself, your family.
And QL, right? I mean, I'm gonna share for everyone out there. QL inside our company is this program called Quantum Leap. It's a program that Gary Keller wrote to teach young adults really around how to find like their purpose, their identity, their big why. It's a killer program. I send every 18 to 25-year-old that I know, I'm like, get your ass in that program right now. Because that's like such a big phase of life that I wish I had had when I was that age, because you don't know what the fuck you want for yourself. And if we had, imagine if, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I love that you're teaching that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I learn by teaching, right? Every time I teach, I learn, and it's like, what am I really implementing? And the amazing moment I really want to share is like, that's when I had the full QL in person, and I took my kids and teach the whole class in front of my kids in the temple, which is the world largest Hindu temple here in New Jersey. And I was
that's so cool
over there. So that was like my heart-filling moments.
I love that. I love that you got to do that there. I mean, now your kids are getting to witness not only you coming out of that and being the biggest, best version of yourself, teaching Quantum Leap. They're getting to see you manage the portfolio on your own that's growing and thriving. They're getting to see you be a real estate agent, both in residential and commercial, and you're transacting commercial businesses and hotels. Badass. You super baddie, very cool. They're also getting to see you now thrive and just have this very big personal entrepreneurial journey of your own. When you look up and you see the version of yourself that your daughters, I mean, your sons too, but especially your daughters are seeing, what's the message you want them to hear and to see for themselves?
That's a really good question. I really want them to believe in themselves and learn and dream bigger than yourself, and have a purpose, and get more clarity on actually who you are, what you want versus what you need, and who you want to become. And every time I tell my kids, you are becoming something when no one is watching. So watch what you do when no one is watching. And dream big, like push yourself a little bit. And sometimes if you need to stay back and relax, just relax and chill. Life does not end there. Life is so big. We have gone through a lot, and they have seen me going through a lot. They have gone through a lot. So, and there is a lot of problems in the world, like which makes you feel like your problems is not even a big problem. So look at the world as the endless opportunity, and just believe in yourself truly, and find people who believe in you, and just live a big life. And every time you achieve a big life, live a little bigger and a bigger.
Mm,
And trust
bigger and
yourself.
bigger and bigger.
And
I
trust.
love it. I love it. I mean, Sheetal, okay, last two questions. You ready? One that's very serious and internal, and one for fun. Serious and internal. For you, what does legacy mean to you?
Oh, legacy means to me is living a life, a fully abundant life with a purpose, clarity, love, and respect and kindness. If I can leave a legacy of a true culture, humanity, and because see, so many people come and leave, and it's not about the name, or it's not about the money, right? It's about the experiences and lessons that you leave behind through the world.
I love that.
And if someone can, even if one of my kids can say, like, you know what, like, yeah, just take a deep breath and just like, man, like, I don't know how to explain it.
Just enjoy
But
it.
it's just
Wrap
like
up in it, right?
an
Yeah. Yeah.
internal,
Enjoy it.
yeah, just an internal thing. Like, you get to live the life. Is such a big gift itself, but how you going to live it and what you leave behind is nothing but the experience and memories.
That's it. Yeah. And a fun question. When you think about the next 12 months, what's the next trip that you are going to take? Just for fun, not for
So
business.
not for business, for
Not
fun.
for business, just for fun. Yeah, we're not transacting hotels on this one. I mean, you could, I guess.
So I always plan my trip around the family, kids, right? Haven't really thought into that. In next 12 months, we
Pick one just for fun. If you
just
pull one out of a hat,
Mhm.
budget unlimited, where would you go if all things were unlimited?
Probably the first thing comes to my mind is Atlantis.
All right, Atlantis, here we go. You heard it here, fam. Sheetal did not walk in quietly. She walked in ready to build, ready to claim, and ready to show her next generation what power and what taking her seat actually looks like. And that's a lesson for every single one of us to walk away with. You don't need the perfect moment. In fact, she didn't have it. You don't need a map. You just need the decision to stop playing by the rules of the room that was never actually built for you. Because here's the truth. You are the room and you are the invitation. You are the future that you have been waiting for. So stand taller, speak louder, and own your space. Whether it's in the deal, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a boardroom, or just your own damn living room. And if you loved this episode, please share it with someone who needs to be reminded just how powerful they are. Follow us, subscribe, leave a review. This is the Commercial Blueprint with Alicia Shepard. Come back next week, because around here, we don't play small. We build, we rise, and we will see you on the next one.